This is Plant-Based Briefing, a vegan behind the scenes of the Envigo Beagle rescue by Karen Asp at Main Street Vegan Academy at mainstreetvegan.com. And I'm Marian Erickson, host of this curated content plant-based podcast, where I narrate a variety of articles on the myriad of reasons to live a plant-based and vegan lifestyle with permission in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. And today's article is from a new contributor I'm thrilled to have permission to read from. Main Street Vegan Academy is the premier training and certification program for vegan coaches. Their mission is to encourage the adoption and maintenance of a positive vegan lifestyle and a health-promoting diet geared to the needs and preferences of the individual for the purpose of creating a just world for all beings and protecting this planet. One of their governing principles, ahimsa, the yogic precept of non-killing, non-violence, non-harming, and reverence for life, is the reason for the existence of Mainstream Vegan Academy. They also celebrate diversity and inclusiveness, and it was founded by Victoria Moran. She went vegan in 1983, overcame a binge eating disorder. In 1985, wrote Compassion, the Ultimate Ethic, the first book about vegan philosophy and practice to come from an actual publisher. She raised a vegan daughter, wrote 12 additional books, and has another on the way, and she appeared twice on Oprah. Her books include Main Street Vegan, Creating a Charmed Life, Shelter for the Spirit, and The Love-Powered Diet. They've been praised by Neil Barnard, MD, Ellen DeGeneres, musician Moby, filmmaker Michael Moore, Dean Ornish, MD, Marianne Williamson, and former President Bill Clinton. So now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. A vegan behind the scenes of the Envigo Beagle rescue by Karen Asp at Main Street Vegan Academy at mainstreetvegan.com. Remember the historic rescue of almost 4,000 beagles from Envigo last summer? See details linked here. I was one of the volunteers who transported some of the beagles from a future destined for a research lab to one of freedom. I can guarantee everybody involved was moved by the experience, but with my vegan lens, the rescue took on greater meaning. The four of us on this mission from Humane Fort Wayne didn't know what to expect. All we knew was to arrive at Envigo on a Thursday morning with no guarantee of getting any of the 25 beagles we've agreed to take, and using cameras or cell phones on the property could jeopardize everything. That morning, we parked at the end of an unidentified road amongst lush forest, with a massive grassy area surrounded by a menacing fence with no trespassing signs around its perimeters. If we were to drive 3 minutes past the fence, we would reach the plant, so says Google, where hundreds of dogs were abused, something an undercover PETA investigation exposed. While animal testing is legal in all but 9 states, Envigo violated the Animal Welfare Act, which triggered the beagle release. There are 8 rescues here, and we are all anxious. That's somewhat quelled when the Humane Society of the United States briefs us, noting that roughly 400 beagles are being freed today. The surprise? Humane Society staff will drive our vehicles to the plant to load the beagles into crates we've set up in our vans. Oh, to be a fly on the wall. At 8 a.m., the first vehicles go back. An hour later, Humane Society comes for ours. I'm too distraught to be around anybody, so I sit alone by the fence. I watch a waste management truck enter, and my mind wanders to dark places. I think about the dogs who never made it out, those who are being freed, and the estimated 60,000 dogs plus thousands of other animals in other breeding facilities and research labs. An odd mix of emotions hits me, and I don't know if I'm crying because of grief or happiness. 40 minutes later, Humane Society returns with our vans, 16 beagles in one and 9 in another. We're asked to quickly leave the property, so we drive to the nearest gas station to regroup. The packing list reveals they're all males born between March and April 2021. Their names are 6-letter combinations tattooed in green ink under their left ear. Each beagle has meticulous vaccine records signed by a veterinarian who obviously forgot his oath to protect animals. When I step into the van to see them, their eyes are wide, their bodies velcroed against their crates. Many are drooling, most shivering with fear. This is their first time out of the plant, their first time in a vehicle, probably their first time in their own space, and undoubtedly their first time feeling a loving hand. I move slowly, and as I reach into their crates to stroke them, I whisper, "You're free," and I feel my soul shift. I've been an ethical vegan for over a decade. Not only do I not eat animals, but I also avoid any form of animal exploitation and cruelty in everything I do. And although I've signed countless petitions and written about animal testing as a journalist, I've never been this close to an animal destined for the lab world. Even when our physical journey ends 14 hours later, my mental one doesn't, stemming from something that happened the day before. As I'm driving the transport van through a small Ohio town en route to Envigo, I came next to a truck packed with pigs. I'm sitting high enough that I can see their bodies, their snouts up. I work hard to stifle my tears when I see their eyes. I'm the only vegan in the group, not unusual in the animal rescue groups I'm in, so I can't share what's running through my head. While we're on our way to save beagles, nobody's saving these pigs, even though they're as exploited and abused as the dogs, if not more. And I wonder, what if the beagles were in the truck going to slaughter and we were going to rescue the pigs? Would people wake up to the disconnect then? It's a rhetorical question, of course. My hope? That the beagles serve as a conduit for more than animal testing awareness and inspire a world where cruelty-free becomes the default for everything. You just listened to a vegan behind the scenes of the Envigo Beagle rescue by Karen Asp at mainstreetvegan.com. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and this was a tough one to record because I had to keep stopping and re-recording because I was breaking down. It's all just so heartbreaking. I really wish people would wake up and just stop being cruel for no reason to all of these innocent, defenseless animals. But there's a footnote at the end of this article that says, note, in case you're wondering, all 25 male beagles and another group of 25 female beagles who arrived 2 weeks later found loving homes through Humane Fort Wayne. And this story reminds me when I first went vegan and I was out doing a rescue with another volunteer of a duck for a wildlife rescue. And I naively assumed everybody involved in animal rescue was vegan. But no, that's not the case. I was wearing one of my shirts. I think it was the Be Kind to Animals, Don't Eat Them shirt. And we were there for hours trying to capture this poor duck. And it came up in conversation that she eats animal flesh. And I said, I didn't, I'm vegan. And she said, oh, I wondered if that was the case based on your shirt. I was stunned, so naive, I know that now, but I just assumed everybody who cared about animals cared about them enough to not pay somebody to abuse and kill them. And regarding the comment in the article about the veterinarian who had obviously forgotten his oath to protect animals, you might want to check out episodes 273 and 274, Why Aren't More Veterinarians Vegan? It's a two-parter, also written by Karen, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Karen is such an amazing person. She's an award-winning journalist, author of Anti-Aging Hacks, and she's a Main Street Vegan Academy graduate. She writes for numerous publications. You've heard her articles many, many times on this podcast. And in her spare time, she's a vegan mentor with Vegan Outreach, and she volunteers with Humane Fort Wayne and Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, and Grace, where she rescues and transports golden retrievers, often from puppy mills, fosters dogs, and serves as a foster rep. She shares her home with a rescue cat, a golden retriever puppy, and a golden lab mix. Both dogs were foster wins through Grace. So please share this episode with anyone who might benefit. Maybe share it with any people you know who are involved in animal rescue but aren't vegan. And thank you for listening.